Hey guys, how are you this Friday? We're just joking in the chat. I can't speak Hindi. I'm just joking. I'm using Google Translate. Hey guys, how has your week been? How has your week been? I have been sick most of this week, so I'm still, my ears are still very strange. So hopefully my last class wasn't terrible, and hopefully this class will be okay. Guys, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about actually something very different. So in Unit 5, we have been talking about, we've been talking about two things. We've been talking about grammar about the future, like will and be going to, and present continuous and present simple. And also we have been talking about vocabulary about fashion, right? So last class we did a short reading activity about fashion in the future, right? Fashion in the future. So today we're going to do something very different. We're going to do a grammar lesson today. And I really hope we can do everything today. It's a long lesson. So are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to study some grammar today? I pronounce being like it is being. Yeah, sometimes they're very similar, Akram. Sometimes they're very similar. Sometimes being sounds like bin too. Bin, like bin Laden, like Osama bin Laden. It's a stupid example, but it sounds like that. Being. Oh, Carla's here today. Hey, Carla, thanks for joining us. I know it's probably a very busy time for you and your family in Brazil. Just for the students that don't know, this is the most important time of the year for Christian countries. Christian countries. Do you guys understand Christian? Let me open a document here. Christian countries. So countries where, remember we talked about this last class, in which countries, so in these countries in which Christianity is the dominant religion. Wow, difficult vocabulary to start this class. So you guys understand countries in which, so in which, guys, it means that. You guys understand that, but also that in. We can't say that in. Understand what I mean? So we have to say in which. So countries in which, so in these countries, Christianity, I know you guys understand Christianity. Maybe you don't know the word, okay? Christianity. This is, what is Christianity? What is Christianity? Well, Christianity is a religion, okay? So you guys know religion. Some of you guys, religion is really important, and some of you it's not really important. I'm from Canada, and in Canada we have many religions. It's really cool. In Canada you can choose any religion and you can do what you want, right? So in Canada, the number one, I don't mean the best, I just mean the most people, number one is Christianity. I don't know what the number two religion is in Canada. I don't know. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe Islam. I don't know. Most people we follow Christianity. So what are some other countries? What are some other countries in which Christianity is the dominant religion? Dominant means like the most. Well, I talked about Carla, right? Carla is in Brazil, right? And Yomera is actually, Yomera, are you from Mexico? Because I know you live in California. So USA, Christianity is the dominant religion, right? Very good, Shubham. Christian countries. Let me write your example. That's a very good example. Christian countries are the countries in which Christianity is followed. Very good, Shubham. Yeah, you follow a religion. So yeah, Germany, Mohammed, yeah. Spain, Russia, many countries, right? And yeah, I think in the world, I think Christianity is the most dominant religion. I don't mean it's the best religion. I don't mean that. But I think number two, the most people is Islam. So we have a lot of students, and their religion is Islam. Some countries, you have more religions, right? Like Nisa Nur, you're from Turkey, and of course Turkey, I think Islam is the dominant religion, but also you have Christianity. And Vivek, are you talking about India? India, another religion is Hindu, right? But also India, you have Islam, right? And you have lots of other religions. When I was in university, I studied religion about the world, and India, gosh, India has so many religions. Anyways, let's stop talking about religion. But just so you guys know, a lot of you guys are in India, or you are in Islamic countries, and this is not a special time for you, right? But in Canada and Brazil and Germany and gosh, many places around the world, this is a really special time of the year, and we, many holidays, and we spend time with our family. So I just wanted to let you guys know, because this is a Smrt Live class is very international. It's super cool, right? We have people in the chat from all over the world. Anyways, let's start the lesson. Now, before we start the grammar lesson, I want to prepare you. I want to prepare you about what we're going to study. So we're going to look at four short conversations, and this is just a preview of the grammar. Before we start, Mohammed Abdulaziz has a question. How can I differ? Wow. Nice English. How can I differentiate? Woo! Nice word. How can I understand the difference? How can I differentiate? Wow. Listen to my pronunciation, guys. Differentiate. Whew. I should use that word more often in my life. That's a good word, Mohammed. How can I differentiate between the uncle, between how do I write this? Between my mother's brother and my father's brother. Do you guys understand Mohammed's excellent question? Because in English we just say uncle. Mohammed, we can't, okay? We just say the uncle on my mother's side of the family, and the uncle on my father's side of the family. Usually we yeah, it's difficult. I know, it's a good question. Do you have a special way to say that in Arabic, Mohammed? That's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, no, in English, uncle we say for both, and we can't differentiate. We don't have a special word. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started. Good question, Mohammed. Very good question. Can you guys see this okay? If you can't see this text, it's because the quality of your video is not very good, and you can change the quality. You can change the quality on your phone or on your computer, but be careful, because if you are using data on your phone, it will cost money, more money, so be careful. But if you're using Wi-Fi, it's no problem, okay? All right, so we're going to listen, actually. I'll try to make this a little bigger. We're gonna listen and follow this conversation. I want you guys to listen for the missing words here. So let's look at this conversation first. What do you think of these glasses? Stop. Stop. What do you think of these glasses? Guys, look at that sentence, right? Students never ask this question. What do you think of something? What do you think of something? And what do you think, whoa, what do you think of, ding, 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 ding. It just means tell me your opinion of this. Whoa. Tell me your opinion. I guess that's not a question, is it? Tell me your opinion of this, right? So maybe, what do you think of today's class? What do you think of the weather today, right? Do you like it? Do you not like it? So what do you think of these glasses? And the person says, they're all right. What does that mean, they're all right? They're all right. What does all right mean? What does that mean? And actually, there are two ways to write all right. You can say all right, one word, whoops, and you can use all right, two words. They are totally the same. There is no difference. There is no difference. Please don't ask me what is the difference. There is no difference between these two. But what does that mean? Like, how are you? I'm all right. I'm all right. What do you think of Obama? Yeah. I love Obama. I'm going to miss him. He's not perfect, but I think he was a very good president. In my opinion, it's an awesome class. Thank you, Mohammed. Your English is awesome. Good? It does all right? I think all right is, we have good and we have bad, right? I think all right is here. It's a very useful word. All right is between good and bad. Okay, so please use this. If I say, hey, how are you? You could say, I'm okay, I'm all right. Okay, don't say so-so. Students always say that, so-so. Yo, Mara, you live in California. Do you hear that a lot? So-so? Do you hear that? So-so? Nandish has a question. What do you think of, or what do you think about? They're the same, Nandish. Very good question. Very good question. Don't worry about the difference. They're the same, okay? Yeah, I'm still sick. Nothing special. So I'm still waiting for Yomara's answer. Yomara, do you hear that a lot? So-so? So-so? Because English people usually don't say so-so, but students always say it. And well, why are students always saying this? So-so. But and then students always say, "Oh, how are you?" "I'm fine. I'm fine." Come on, guys, that's super boring. That's super boring. I'm fine. Yeah. You say this, "I'm all right. I'm okay." Or not bad. Not bad. Okay? So Yomara answered. Yomara said, "No, I don't." Thank you, Yomara. Yomara, is that your name? I was thinking about that. Is that your real name? Like, is your name Yomara? Because I think it's not. Isn't Yo mean like, I don't know, Spanish. Never mind. Is that your name? Anyways, let's go. Okay. They're all right. So they're not good. They're not bad. I'm not sure I like the color on you, though. color. Here's the Canadian spelling. Okay, so I think Jundi. Oh, Ekaterina's here. Hey, Ekaterina. I think Jundi asked me, why are you using the Canadian spelling? And he thought I was American, right? More or less. Carla, Carla's using her phone today, so she's typing in Portuguese. Really? I like this color. I just don't think green suits you. Remember that word, guys? Suits you. It's not good for you. It doesn't suit you. Something blue or brown. Really? Okay. So let's listen to the conversation.
What do you think of these glasses?
They're all right. I'm not sure I like the color on you, though.
Really? I like this color.
I just don't think green suits you as well as blue or brown.
Really? Okay.
So what were the missing words? I think that's pretty easy. What does this mean, though? What does this mean, though? I forgot to talk about this word, though. They're all right. I'm not sure I like the color on you, though. What does that mean, though? What's another word very similar meaning to though? Very good, Yomara. Yeah, okay. Akram, Chari, Raiwun. Very good, guys. As well as. We're gonna study this grammar today. I know I've talked about this a long time, or I talked about this a long time ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, but that was a different kind of class. So this is, a lesson in Unit 5. But what does this mean, though? What's another way? Vivek, I think you wanted to write however. I think you just forgot the V. Yeah, Steve Lynn, very good. But, look, guys, look. They're all right, but the meaning of though here is but. It's very, very, very common when we're speaking. And we usually say it at the end of our sentence. And it means but. Now, be careful, Akram. Sometimes as well means and, or to, or also. Okay, that's a good point. Okay, so example, Ekaterina is from Russia. Elena is from Russia as well. Okay, this means to or also. Okay, but in this conversation, as well as, it's a different meaning. Okay, that's a good mistake. I mean, it's maybe this meaning, but that's a mistake, right? It doesn't mean and in this sentence. So we're gonna talk about this. But Rose is right. We don't say but at the end of a sentence. It's very common to say though at the end of a sentence. Okay. So gosh, what's an example? I don't, you guys, I'm always joking. I have a Japanese wife, so I always joke about sushi. I don't love Japanese food. I don't love Japanese food. Now, when we're speaking, sometimes we want to, balance what we're saying. Balance. So that's kind of a negative thing, right? I don't love Japanese food. I don't love Japanese food. There are some good kinds of food. There are some good kinds of Japanese food, though. That means but. But there are some good kinds of Japanese food. Okay? So that's an example. Today in Vancouver, whoa, capital letter mark, in Vancouver, Canada, it's pretty cold. It's pretty cold. It's not snowing though. It's not snowing though. Understand? So it means like, but it's not snowing. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Japanese food because it's healthy. Yeah, maybe that's my problem. It's just too healthy for me. So we're going to talk, yeah, about as well as a different meaning. Okay, let's look at the next conversation. How do those ones feel? What does ones mean here? What does one? Look at the picture. Look at the conversation. And what does ones mean here? Ones. Okay, sometimes one doesn't mean one. It has a different meaning. It's a pronoun. It's a pronoun. Those things. Those things. So which things? Okay. So hold on, Akram. Yeah, okay, so Akram, you know this. So don't worry about as well as right now. We're going to talk about that later, okay? We are going to talk about that later. It's my plan. High heels. Okay, but I think just ones means shoes, right? Why? Because I think this conversation is happening at a shoe store, right? The customer is, what is the customer doing? Nora, I have exams in 2 weeks. Guys, look at Nora's sentence, because many students say 2 weeks after, or after 2 weeks, which is not good English. Look at Nora's beautiful sentence. I have exams in 2 weeks. What does in 2 weeks mean? It means from now. Okay, please copy Nora's beautiful English. Okay, I have exams in 2 weeks. That means 2 weeks from now. Okay, and Nora said, I'm not studying though, because Nora's too busy, or she's lazy or something. You're like me, don't study. Now, you guys, how do you do shoe sizes in your countries? Because when you travel and you buy shoes or you go to shoe stores, you're going to notice that shoe sizes are different around the world. So in Canada and USA, we use inches. We use inches. Let's go buy some shoes. Let's go to Little Burgundy, which is a shoe store in Vancouver here. I like this shoe store. Let's buy some shoes. I usually only wear Converse shoes. I've been wearing Converse shoes. I have been wearing Converse shoes since I was a child. Now, in Canada, you guys probably don't need this, but in Canada, we have Converse for the winter. So, okay, now look at this. These are men, right? Men's shoes. Look at the sizes. Size 7, size 8, size 8.5, 9, and 10. Usually I take a 10. I take a 10. What's going on here? What are these shoe sizes? Are they the same in your countries? Is it the same? Because in Canada we use the American system, and yeah, they are confusing. Yeah, and if I go to Japan, gosh, what's a ABC Mart? Japan. Let's try to find a Japanese shoe store. I don't know why I'm doing this. Here's ABC Mart. Okay, sneakers. Here's Converse. Oh, let's go back. Come on, Japanese website. Okay, here, let's buy some Japanese shoes with the American colors. Why would you buy those? Okay, anyways, look at these shoe sizes. What's going on here? Wow, okay, so 6H, 7, 25.5. Okay, so here's the American and here's the Japanese system. So Carla's size is 36. 36? What is that? So Japan uses centimeters. So anyways, that's what I'm talking about. Shoe sizes are crazy. In Canada, USA, we use inches. So if you buy American shoes, it's probably inches. They're size 7. They feel much something than the size 8s. Okay. I'm sure 7.5 will fit you perfectly, but unfortunately, we don't have that size in stock. We don't have that size in stock. We don't have that size in the store. Shall I call our downtown location? You know, sometimes a shoe store has a store here and a store downtown. Shall I call the store downtown? That would be great. Okay, I'll be right back. Thanks. Let's listen and see what do they say. How do those ones feel? They're size 7.
They feel much smaller than the size 8s.
Okay. I'm sure 7.5 will fit you perfectly, but unfortunately, we don't have that size in stock. Shall I call our downtown location to see if they have any?
That would be great.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Thanks.
So what did Leanne say? She said they feel much. Okay, so we had, the first one was as well as. And I think, what did Leanne say? She said smaller. They feel much smaller than. They feel much smaller than the size 8s. Okay. Let's listen to one more and then we're going to start the grammar. Wow, Dave, nice suit. This is a different meaning of suit, right? Wow, Dave, nice suit. It looks really smart on you. Remember we talked about this meaning of smart? It doesn't mean here. It means clean and handsome and nice. It looks really smart on you. Thanks. I got it last week. I bought it last week. It's very common in English to say get to mean buy. Okay? I got it. I bought it. But it's very common to say got, not buy. Okay? Both ways are okay, but it's very common not to say buy. You know, I bought this coffee before class. Maybe I usually say I got this coffee before class. I got it last week. Is it Armani? It is. It is Armani. Armani suits are a little expensive, normal ones, normal suits, but the quality is far. What? Well, you look good. Thanks. Let's listen to this conversation.
Wow, Dave, nice suit. It looks really smart on you.
Thanks, I got it last week.
Is it Armani?
It is. Armani suits are a little more expensive than normal suits, but the quality is far better.
Well, you look good.
Thanks.
Sean, right? Okay, so Lane said suits here. That's a mistake. I should fix that. But whoa. Oh, we have this problem again. Sometimes it just changes for some reason. What did he say? It is. Armani suits are a little more expensive than normal ones. A little more expensive than normal ones. But the quality is far what? Let's listen again.
Wow, Dave, nice suit. It looks really smart on you.
Thanks, I got it last week.
Is it Armani?
It is. Armani suits are a little more expensive than normal suits, but the quality is far better.
Far better? What? Far better? This is not the normal meaning of far. What does far mean here? I'm sure somebody knows what this means. Usually far is this meaning, right? But here, no, it's a different meaning. Far better. It just means far, it means much better. Okay? So let's go back and as well as, okay, I don't think green suits you. Okay, so I don't think green suits you as well as blue, or I forget, I can't remember, red, I don't know, whatever. So I don't think green suits you as well as blue or red. And I think Leanne, the next one, she was talking about these ones feel much smaller than the size 8s, I think is what she said. So these ones, right? These shoes feel much smaller than the size 8s. And Armani suits are more expensive than normal ones, right? But the quality is far better. The quality is far better. So you can see here in these sentences, let's just focus on these sentences. In these sentences, we are talking about the difference. Remember, Mohammed said differentiate. Okay, we are looking at the differences between two things. So I don't think green, number one, as well as blue or red. So we're talking about the differences between green and blue or red. Okay, in the second sentence, we have these shoes feel much smaller than the size 8s. So we are comparing these shoes and the size 8s. Whoops, Armani suits. You prefer Pierre Cardin suits? Okay. I never wear a suit. I don't know anything about suits. Okay. Armani suits are more expensive than normal ones. And finally, the quality is far better than normal, than the quality of normal suits. That's the meaning. Whoops, suits. Than the quality of normal suits. So you can see here we're comparing. We are comparing. Look at Rosa's sentence in the chat, right? We are comparing two things. And when we compare things, we use special grammar. Here we have as well as. Here we have much smaller than. Here we have more expensive than. And here we have far better than. Now, listen, I know most of you guys have studied this. I know most of you guys have studied this. Maybe you've studied this more than one time, but it's not easy grammar, is it? So even if you have studied this before, listen, okay? And we're going to do, for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to talk about the grammar, how to compare things. Okay, it's not easy. Even super high-level students make mistakes about this. So let's go. Let's talk about the grammar here. Okay, making comparisons. I think we'll skip the example. I think you guys understand. Now, adjective. First, before we talk about how to do this, let's talk about two kinds of words: adjectives and adverbs. So first, adjectives are words that describe nouns. Right? You guys know that. You know that. So examples, the house is big. Big describes house. The expensive makeup was on sale. By the way, guys, by the way, makeup is not a verb. Listen, makeup is not a verb. It's never for this meaning, it's never a verb. Okay? So if I'm a woman, if I were a woman and I'm doing this, no. What am I doing? Am I making up? No, I'm not making up. It's not a verb. It's not a verb. Did you guys know that? Did you know that? Because it looks like a verb, right? Make is a verb. Sometimes make up is a phrasal verb when you make a story in your head like it's not, not true. It's a noun. It's always a noun. So what verb do we use? What verb do we use? Let's see. By the way, makeup, you can see sometimes we use this. It's called a hyphen or a dash, and sometimes we don't use it. It's up to you. Both ways are okay. You see, I typed, if I type one word, the dictionary understands. And so you can use one word or you can use a dash. Both ways are okay. So let's look at some pictures of makeup. Okay, so this woman, listen, she is wearing makeup. She's wearing makeup. I know that maybe is strange for you. I'm wearing an orange shirt. I'm wearing my ring. I am not wearing pants today. I'm joking, right? But she is wearing makeup. I am not wearing makeup. Come on, Yomera. Are skirts comfortable? I talked to my last class. I want to wear a skirt. I hope in the future skirts become in style for men, okay? Because they look comfortable. That's the only reason. I don't want to look like a woman. It looks comfortable, you know? She's wearing makeup. You also wear perfume. I'm wearing perfume. Yeah, she's wearing makeup. Now, what is this woman doing? What is she doing? She's wearing makeup, but what is she doing? What is this called, guys? When I do this, right? What is that action? So now I'm wearing my ring, but what's this? What is that called? It's called put on. Put on. Good job, Jindy. Yeah, she is putting on makeup, or she's putting on her makeup, or she's putting on some makeup. Please don't say she is making up. That's not good English. I'm sorry, English is crazy, but makeup is not a verb. It's not a verb. Okay. So let's go back to what we were talking about. The expensive makeup was on sale. Yeah, Malgorzata, yeah, she's putting her makeup on. She's putting on her makeup. She's putting her makeup on. Both ways are okay. Not just putting, Chari, not just putting. She's putting mascara. No, she's putting mascara on. Or she's putting on mascara. Okay? I ate some spicy chips. By the way, Nandish or Vivek, what does chips mean? Gosh, I'm never going to finish this lesson. But I keep talking about other things. I can't wait to see you in a skirt, Mark, but Irish style. Yeah, maybe one day. Maybe when I'm old, I'll wear a skirt every day, right? I'll have a super long gray beard and I'll wear a skirt. Makeup is a noun. But Nitash and Vivek and Nandish, what does chips mean to you? Because in British English, I know you guys are from India, right? I think Nandish is from India. But chips in American English, these are chips. Whoa, no way, no. Whoa, what's going on here? What? Google Images, what is going on? You see, Google Images doesn't understand my meaning. In North American English, so Canadian English or American English, these are chips, okay? But in British English, crazy English, no, I'm joking, it's not crazy, but my family is British, so I say they're crazy. But if you go to England, these are chips. That's why you guys know fish and chips, it's a British meal. So even in, it gets confusing. Look, this is a very super healthy, super delicious British meal. If you go there, you can eat this. It's called fish and chips. But in Canada and USA, we don't, these are not chips. These are chips. These are chips. Okay? So what are these called in North America? These are called French fries. French fries. What are these called in British English? What are these called in British English? I think they say crisps. Crisps. Is that correct? Yeah, crisps. Crisps. And I've never seen this company before. Walkers. Not healthy, Katerina. I'm joking. Yeah, totally not healthy. These are called crisps. Crisps in British English. Whoa. But in North American English or American English, we say chips. And then chips for British English, we say French fries in North American English. Okay? Oh, sick. I'm sorry. Okay. Gosh, so what are we studying today? Oh yeah, comparisons. We're not talking about chips. She bought a beautiful blouse. Okay, so you guys understand adjectives, right? Okay, let's go. Adverbs. Adverbs can describe many things. Adverbs can describe adjectives, they can describe verbs, and they can describe, sometimes they can describe other adverbs. But don't worry about this. This is not a lesson about adverbs, okay? You guys can look in our YouTube channel. I've talked about adjectives and adverbs a lot, and I've done a few lessons about this. So we're not talking about, what's an adverb, what's an adjective. We're not talking about that so much today. Today we're going to focus on adverbs that describe verbs, okay? Sometimes adverbs can describe adjectives. Sometimes adverbs can describe other adverbs. And sometimes adverbs can describe verbs. And these adverbs that describe verbs, these are the kind of adverbs we're going to talk about today, okay? These are probably the most, well, no, I'm not going to say that. But what do I mean? Adverbs that describe verbs. Well, look, she sings how? She sings beautifully. Adverb. He can run fast. Fast is an adverb here. Okay? I went to bed late last night. And Susan dresses. She dresses her clothes. She dresses fashionably. Fashionably. Okay. So, why are we talking about adjectives and adverbs? Because when we make comparisons, here is one way we can do it. We can say as, where's my hand? Okay, as, adjective, or adverb, as. Let's look at an example. We can use this way to say that things are equal. They're the same. Okay? Very common to say here, almost or nearly as something as. Okay? Almost or nearly. They're the same meaning. No, prepositions also. I hate all those names. Adverbs, adjectives. Yeah, it's confusing. Let's look at some examples, okay? Steve can run as fast as Jim. They're the same. That's the meaning. They're the same. You look as tall as me. I ate as much as I could last night. Now remember, sometimes we say almost or nearly. So today it is almost as hot as it was yesterday. Same meaning, nearly. Today it is nearly. It's almost equal. It's almost equal. Okay? Now, this is also very common in the negative. Mark teaches as well as Sean. Thank you. Thank you. Is that good? I mean, we're the same. So is Sean a good teacher? If Sean's a good teacher, then that's a nice thing to say. But if Sean's a bad teacher, then we're equal. Sean's a bad teacher, Mark's bad. Okay, no, I'm joking. Mark, how tall are you? I'm 5'8", I think. I'm 5'8". That's my height, guys. Do you know what that means? 5'8". Because in Canada we use the crazy American system for height. French seems as difficult as English. Yeah, maybe. Probably, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so not as. Now, listen. The negative version, we want to say that the two are not equal. In this sense, look, now listen, this is confusing, okay? The first noun is less. Less. The first thing is less than the second thing. So, what does that mean? It means the second thing is more than the first. This is confusing, and if you guys are confused, relax. I'm going to explain it. Okay, I tried the chicken, but okay, so the first thing, the first thing with negative as something as, okay? Negative as something as. When you say this, the first thing is less. Okay, right, Chari. Yeah, you're probably, yeah, I love pizza, right? So, it didn't taste as good as the beef. So the first thing, chicken, tastes good less than the beef. This is super popular English. And my students in Vancouver at the Canadian College, they are not comfortable speaking like this. So Sean, yeah, beef, or Sean. Nitesh just wrote, hi Sean. Sean's here? Sean's coming? What do you mean? Where's Sean? I don't see Sean. Oh, Sean is here. Oh, okay. So, sorry, I'm confused. Okay, let me start again. Chicken, beef. So the first thing, chicken, tastes good, is less than the beef. So, do you understand what I'm talking about? Not as, the first thing is less. The second thing is more. Okay? This is important because later we're going to talk about the opposite. So look, today, the weather today is less. It doesn't feel as warm as, number two, yesterday. So yesterday was more. More what? More warm. More warm. Mohammed, I drove as fast as I could. Nitesh, very good example. I'm going to write that. So, of course, you're not from Canada, so Nitesh cannot speak as fluently as Mark. Of course. So this means, right, negative as something as. Negative means that the first thing is less, and the second thing is more. Chicken doesn't taste as good as beef. I'm not as fat. Wow, Stephen, you're so nice. I'm not as fat. I'm not as fat as Mark. Good job, Stephen. Very beautiful sentence. It's very nice. So basically, yeah, you're saying Mark is fat. Okay, cool. All right, that's true. What about Stephen? I'm not as bald as Mark. Do you have more hair than me? What else can you say that's bad about Mark? No, I'm joking, Nitesh. Or Stephen. I'm just joking. I have thick skin. Do you guys know what that means? I have thick skin. Thick skin. here's my skin. Oh, that's not a nice part of my skin. Here's skin, and I have thick, not thin, thick skin. That means usually words like that, like this. I don't get angry about that. I know you're just joking. I know you're just joking. So this is pretty popular English. But some people don't have thick skin. Some people will cry if you say that, right? So be careful, Stephen. I can't jump as high as you. I can't jump as high as you. So you are more jump high, right? My computer isn't as new as yours. Now, guys, look. Listen. My arm. I talked about this my last class, but I crashed my scooter in Hawaii. I was driving in a really beautiful, crazy place, and the road was wet, and I fell down on my scooter, and I really hurt my arm and my leg, and I'm sick, and I'm fat, and I'm bald, and no, I'm joking. I'm okay. All right. So, I wanted to talk about this. When we use as something as yes, Sean. I am not as funny as Sean. Sean is more, right? So me less. So I start I am not as funny as Sean. Okay, but when we use this grammar, guys, look. Don't change the adjectives or the adverbs. Don't change them. Don't say as better. As better. It's okay, Yomer. I have thick skin, but I don't have thick skin on my elbows, like Sean said. As warmer? No. As higher? No. As newer? No, don't say that. Okay. We're going to talk about that, Steve Land. We're going to talk about that. Don't worry. Okay, but when we use this grammar, don't use don't use more. Okay? We're going to talk about that next. Comparative and superlative adjectives. Now, this is a stupid grammar name for or more. Now, this, you guys know, like warmer or better. These are called comparative adjectives. We can add Sometimes we add and sometimes we say more. Okay? Sometimes we say sometimes we say more. Now, when do we say and when do we say more? Right? Well, we actually have to think about the syllables. Coffee. Phone. Elbow. Syllables, okay? You guys understand syllables, right? Mohammed, right? Sean, Canada, Yomera, Ekaterina, Carla. And so you have to think about the syllables. You have to count the syllables. And if an adjective or an adverb has one syllable, right? One syllable, we can use or est. Est is number one for more than two. Well, two things. We'll show you. So hotter, hot is one syllable. Cold, one syllable. So colder, bigger, warmer, older, faster. Now, if you want to say est, you guys know est, like you have a group of, I guess, 3 or more, and you want to say this one is is the most, number one. We use the and est. Okay? So hotter, the hottest. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna look at some examples. Okay? Colder, the coldest. Don't forget the. Many students forget the, but in this grammar, the is actually really, really important. Okay? Your teacher taught you how to do syllables. Yeah, I remember that. So one syllable, we can use or the est. Okay? Now, what about adjectives that end in y? We have many, many adjectives that end in y. Hold on, Yomera. Handsome is not one syllable. So we're going to talk about those very soon, okay? Adjectives that end in y. So what are some adjectives that end in y? Like happy or funny or angry or busy, right? If we have an adjective that ends in y, we change the y to I-E-R. Okay, ear. Amazingly. 4 syllables. No, Mohammed, you guys always say your teacher told you were wrong. Sometimes teachers are wrong, guys. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sean's always wrong. No, I'm joking. But, you guys have to understand that sometimes your teachers are wrong. Sometimes teachers make mistakes. So your teacher told you amazingly is not 4 syllables. Amazingly. It's 4 syllables, Mohammed. You're right. Okay? So don't worry about your teacher. Don't worry about your test. Okay, let's keep going. So y adjectives become ear. You guys know this, right? Easier, the easiest. Busier, the busiest. Prettier, the prettiest, right? Happier, the happiest. Okay, all right. Now, handsome, right? Like Yomera, you asked about handsome. Handsome is not one syllable, and it's not with a Y. So what do we do? Well, 2 or more syllables. No, 9. Enjoy is not an adjective. Okay, so or an adverb. So don't use okay, only for adjectives, right? But handsome is 2 syllables, right? Or beautiful is 3 syllables. So what do we say for these words? Well, we say more or the most. Don't read this. More or the most. Okay, so look. Nervous, right? He is more nervous. Interesting, more interesting, or the most interesting. So handsome, like Chari said, more handsome. More handsome. Syllable, Nitesh, syllable is I don't want to explain it completely, but the syllable is how many vowel sounds are in a word. Vowel, like A-E-I-O-U, okay? So there's a vowel sound there. The E is making a vowel sound with R. So vus, us, O-U together is making a vowel sound. Okay, can some adjectives be used both ways? Yes, Carla, we're going to talk about that. But is this okay? Let's hopefully look at some exceptions here. Now, exceptions. Of course, English always has exceptions. For some adjectives, like Carla just asked, some adjectives, both or more are okay, or est, or most. Both of them are okay. So here are some examples of which adjectives both ones are okay. Which ones? Well, these words here. These ones are really common. Friendly, simple, quiet, narrow, and clear. Okay? Now I pushed this up because my face is here, so I'll maybe hide here. Okay, but that says the clearest, right? Okay, so friendly is actually an adjective. Okay, he is a very friendly person. Person is a noun. So I know usually "ly" is an adverb, right? But friendly is not an adverb. Friendly is an adjective. Think about it, right? A friendly teacher, a friendly student. So friendly is not an adverb, okay? Here are some exceptions. No, Carla, we never say more easy. Easy is not an exception. We must say easier. But these ones are exceptions. So look, friendly is an adjective. And remember, adjectives with Y, we change to IER. But friendly is an exception. That means both ways are okay. More friendly or friendlier. Okay? More friendly or friendlier. Simple. We can say more simple or simpler. Okay? Quiet, we can say more quiet or quieter. Narrow, narrow, wide, narrow, narrower or more narrow. And finally, clear, clearer. It's really difficult to say, but some people say that. Clearer, 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 or more clear. These are the main exceptions. These are the main exceptions. I guess fun, yeah, fun. You could probably say funner. It's funner, funner. Funner or more fun. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. This chart is absolutely helpful. Yeah. Okay. So adverbs ending in ly. Okay. So adverbs ending in ly. So what am I talking about here? Well, Mark sings beautifully. Do you guys know that? Mark sings beautifully. But who's a really good singer? Like a famous singer. Who's a really good famous singer? Come on, guys, help me. Who's a really good famous singer? No, of course I'm a really beautiful singer, but who else? Like, who's a famous beautiful singer? Maybe a woman, maybe a man. I don't know. That everybody knows. Everybody knows. Super famous. I don't know. Beautiful. Let's ask Google. Beautiful singer. Taylor Swift. What? No. I disagree. Katie. These are not. Okay, Beyonce. All right, Beyonce is okay. So Beyonce. You guys all know Beyonce, right? Beyonce sings beautifully. Okay, now which one is more? Which one is more? Right? Which one is more beautifully? So how do we compare with with this word? Right? Of course, Beyonce is more, right? But remember, as, not as, ching, 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 as. Remember this, right? Oh my gosh, it's 10:05 already. We're going to keep going, guys. We're going to keep going until we finish this lesson, okay? So today's lesson might be a little longer, but if you have to go ahead, and then you can watch the rest on YouTube later, okay? Hey, Anthony, what's up? Remember, we're gonna jump back to this, not as something something as, okay? Now remember, when we use this grammar, the first thing is less. So which is less for sing beautifully? Is it Mark or Beyonce? Of course, Mark. So Mark does not what? Does not sing. Okay, and then the second one is more. So of course, Beyonce. Mark does not sing as beautifully. Okay. Understand? Remember that? Remember that? Okay, so the first one is less. When you use not as something as. But when we use more or the first thing is more. So, what's the first? What's more, Mark or Beyonce? Well, of course, Beyonce, right? And the second thing, jing, 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 is Mark. Okay, so how do we say beautifully with more or? Well, beautifully, we say Beyonce. Well, let's go back to the presentation. Let's see, what does the presentation say? We use more. Okay, so here's our answer: more beautifully. Okay, more beautifully. So Beyonce sings more beautifully than Mark. Now, guys, when we use more or we use than. Okay, than. Okay, more. Anthony, you need more beautifully. Okay, now look. Okay, Anthony, I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, because I hope you have thick skin. Were you here for that? Did you understand that? Thick skin. But Anthony, your sentence has some mistakes, and I want to show your mistakes to everybody because I want everybody to understand the mistake. Okay, so please don't get angry that I'm saying your English is bad. No, I see this everywhere with students. So Anthony's confused. Okay, Anthony's confused. This is the big problem. And this is what I really want you guys to think about in this lesson today. We have two ways to compare, right? We have as, something as, right? And then we have more or I shouldn't do that. Than. Okay, Anthony. Okay, so I'm gonna. It's okay, Anthony. Many students confuse these. They put them together, and they don't work together. They don't work together. So, I think we are. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, I think my. Yeah, I think that's enough for the presentation. But, okay, let's talk about this a little bit because I don't want you guys to get confused, okay? So, my example, Beyonce and Mark. Okay, now, let's think about adjective. Well, let's use an adjective. Let's use beautiful. And an adverb, let's use beautifully. Okay, beautifully. Now, when we use an adverb, okay guys, listen. Yeah, I know, Nitesh, but don't worry. Like, it's a lot of slides, but I'm just explaining it, so don't worry. Okay, when we use adjectives, we need to describe a noun. So, beautiful what? Let's say beautiful voice. Okay. When we use an adverb, for this lesson, we are just talking about adverbs that describe verbs. Okay, so what verb? Well, let's say sing. Okay. Okay, so we have two ways to do this. Number one, we can use as, something as. Or number two, we can use a comparative form. We can change the word a little bit with more or but they're different. Okay? So let's start here. Now remember what I said. When you use as, something as, you start, the first thing is less. Okay? So let's do as, something as. Ding, 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 as. Okay, so which one's less? Of course, Mark. So let's do beautiful first. Beautiful voice. So, Mark's voice. And ding, 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 Beyonce's voice. Right? The first thing is less. So less, right? So, Mark's voice. Now, with as, something as. Listen. With as something as, we don't say more. We don't say and we don't say than. Understand? Okay, so Mark's voice isn't what? As beautiful as. Okay, Mark's voice isn't as beautiful. I hate this word. I always make mistakes. Mark's voice isn't as beautiful as. More beautiful? No. Then? No. Most beautiful? No. Okay? Isn't as beautiful as. Now, let's use the adverb. So we need a verb. We need sing. Okay? Mark doesn't sing. Ching, 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 ching. Beyonce. Okay. So now we have a verb. So now we need an adverb. So beautifully. Mark doesn't sing as beautifully as Beyonce. More beautifully? No. Than? No. Most? No. Okay. Now, let's use the second way that we talked about. So this is as something as. Now let's talk about the comparative way. Okay, comparative means more or something ding, 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 than. Now when we use comparative, the first thing is more. It's the opposite, right? Remember here, the first thing is less. Okay? You guys following me? You understand? The first thing is less. But with this grammar, the first thing is more. Okay? So let's talk about beautiful voice. Okay? Which one is more? Well, Beyonce. Beyonce's voice is more beautiful. I'm sick, Jindy. I'm not tired. I'm just sick. Beyonce's voice is, so now beautiful, 3 syllables. So we need more. Okay? Beyonce's voice is more beautiful than Mark's voice. Okay? We probably don't need Mark's voice. Just say Mark's. Okay, so look. This is comparative, so we use more. No as. Okay? More beautiful than Mark's. And then finally, beautifully, right? To talk about sing. Which one's more? Of course, Beyonce. So Beyonce sings beautifully. Very long word, so we need more. More beautifully than Mark. Okay? Does that, you guys understand the difference? So a lot of students confuse them. Anthony, you still there, or did you leave because you're embarrassed? I think Anthony's fine. I think he has thick skin. Now, Rosa has an excellent question. Of course, Beyonce and Mark, they're not very close. Beyonce's, much, right? So yeah, you can say that. How do we, I always use this stupid example. I always do this. Here's a map. Whoa. And you can say Canada is bigger than USA, right? But, USA is a big country, so Canada is a little bigger than, whoa, Nora, I don't know about that. Hold on, maybe I'd misunderstand, but Canada is a little bigger than you could say a little bit bigger than United States, the United States. But if we compare Canada and Japan, it's a big difference. So how do we say a big difference? Well, let's just write our sentence. Let's do both ways, right? So let's do as something as, and we're going to talk about big. So which one is less big? Japan or Canada? Japan. So Japan isn't as big as Canada. And then let's do comparative. So I'm just going to write it here. Canada is bigger than Japan, right? Understand? Yeah, smaller in population. Do you guys, I have a question. Do you guys understand? I'm gonna, my class is already super long, so I don't care. I'm gonna ask this question. But when you're talking about people, can you, in your languages, do you say big country? Because in English we say that, right? So, example, does this sentence make sense to you? China is the biggest country in the world. Because this sentence is totally good English. It's totally good English. But many students, they look at that sentence and they say, no, that's not correct. That's not correct. Many students will say, especially Russian students, they always, like Ekaterina, I'm sure will disagree with this sentence. Don't worry, I will talk about much more in that. But does this sentence make sense to you in your languages? Like, do you say that? Like, of course, my meaning here is not the size of the country. My meaning is the number of people. So Milena, that's okay for you? It's the same in Spanish, right, Yomera? It's the same in Spanish. And Nitesh, look, here we, look. No, because Carla, Milena's Russian? Oh, really? Because I have had many, not many, but I think two disagreements with Russian students. Because Russian students will say, no, that's not correct. Russia is the biggest country in the world. Russia is the biggest country in the world. It's great. So you say that in Russia too? In Russian? Because I have only disagree with Russian students. Because in English, biggest country sometimes means people, and sometimes it means the size, the land size, right? So both of these sentences are correct. China is the biggest country in the world by population, and Russia is the biggest in the country in the world by land, right? It doesn't make sense in Arabic. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. But in English, both ways are okay. Because if I say Tokyo is the something city in the world, I don't know if that's true. I mean, it was when I was a child. Maybe it's different now. But what's the missing word? Are we talking about the size of the city? No, we're talking about the number of people. So what's the answer? What's the answer? In Hindustani, it's totally correct. Thank you, Hindustani. Thank you. Right? But Tokyo is the what? Like, what's the biggest city in the world for size? I don't know. I have no idea. Right? We don't. But what about number of people? What do we say? What do we say? What? Nitesh, China is the biggest and Russia is the largest? They're the same meaning, biggest and largest. It's the same. Yeah. Anyways, guys, seriously, in English, many people say this, okay? We can disagree about this, but we'd say Tokyo is the biggest city, or Nitesh, you could say, is the largest city in the world. And is this talking about size of the city, like how many kilometers? No, this is talking about people, right? So if this is correct, then this is also correct. This is also correct, right? In the world. Many people say this in English, okay? So maybe it doesn't make sense to you, but that's the meaning. It means people. It doesn't mean size. Okay? Anyways, remember my example talking about Canada and Japan. And remember, how do you say there's a big difference? Yes, Akram, you can say that. The most populous city in the world. Yeah, but many people in English just say the biggest city in the world. Populous or populated, both are okay. Yeah. But trust me, people say biggest. Even ask Google. What is the biggest city in the world? What is the biggest city in the world? Look! Right? Okay, well, this one is not a good example because it says land area, population, and density. Oh, okay, well, all right, let's just look at the it's confusing, isn't it? It talks. It's getting confusing, and it has all these different. So what does this mean? Look. Number one is Shanghai. Number one is Shanghai, and then it says here the population. See. Yeah. All right. Anyways, Japan isn't as big as Canada. Canada is. Look, here's what we can say. We can say something here. What can we say? Well, we can say Canada is much bigger. We can say Canada is a lot bigger. Not a lot of, a lot bigger. Okay? Now remember the conversation before? We can say this, far bigger. It's a special meaning of far. Okay? Far bigger. Okay? And then also the last thing I'm going to say, when we're speaking, especially in North American English, and Yomera said this in the chat, but when we're speaking, it's really, really common to say Canada is way bigger. It's way bigger than Japan. Yeah, there's Yomera's comment, way bigger. I should finish class. Way bigger. Yeah, good job, Steve. Good job, Jendi. Wow, Jari, good job. Not ways, Jari, way bigger. So we've talked about two ways to compare, right? We talked about as something as, and we talked about using more or. I didn't talk so much about most. When you're comparing two things, we use more or as something as. But when you're comparing more than two things, we use the most or the ding 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 est. Okay? So if we compare all the cities in the world, right? More than three things. So we'd say Tokyo is the biggest city in the world. Don't forget the, okay? Now in this sentence, I use the biggest because I'm comparing all of the cities in the world. If I'm just comparing Tokyo with my city, Vancouver, Tokyo is bigger than Vancouver. Or Vancouver isn't as big, as Tokyo. But you see, this sentence, I'm comparing all of the cities in the world. Okay? I think that's a good way to finish the lesson. That's a good way to finish the lesson. Much more, yeah, you can say that too, Nora, much more, yeah. You could say Tokyo is much bigger than Vancouver. Well, okay, so much more, it doesn't work here, but remember my example, sings much more beautifully than Mark. And we could say here, a lot more beautifully. That's okay. Or far more beautifully. That's okay, Nora. Or way more beautifully. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. You could even say the opposite. A little bit. A little bit more. Just a little bit more beautifully. It's not true. Guys, I have an announcement. It's a really sad announcement, but this is going to be my last Smrt live class. So you're going to have a new teacher next week. Okay. I'm really sorry about that, but I'm going to go do some other things. So don't worry. I'm sure another teacher will replace me. But I want to thank everybody for coming and joining my class. I'm really sorry. But yeah, this is going to be my last class with Smrt Live class. So also the Facebook group, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I wish you luck, good luck learning English with all the wonderful Smrt Live class teachers, Josh, Neil, Abby, Sean. I think we're going to add some more teachers very soon, next year. So yeah, good luck, and I've really enjoyed doing this. And I really, I'm going to miss this. So So if you are a premium subscriber, don't worry. You will continue. You'll just have a different teacher. So thanks, guys. I've really enjoyed this, and I'm sorry I have to leave, but it's probably the best thing for me. So goodbye. This is my last class, and I guess I'll see you maybe on the internet somewhere. Okay? Bye, everybody.